This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Man, I was just thinking about how jealous I am of you that you got a 3-day weekend this weekend, being off tomorrow. I wish I had off from work right now, Mike.
We were just discussing how few days I work off the air. That was the behind the scenes discussion, is how few days Big Mike works in a year. But listen, I don't make the money you make, bro. You're making that serious guap, bro.
Yeah, look at all this.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm not gonna reveal your personal details, but people would fall off their chairs if they knew the house you live in for a single person. I'm just gonna say that. I'm not gonna say any more, but
Mike,
Rob's doing well. Rob's going to the Mercedes dealership. Okay, he's sending me pictures from the Mercedes dealership. All right, so I don't want to hear it. Those days, bro. Make that guap. I'm not hating on you. I just chose a different path. I chose quality of life job. But you're right. I got off tomorrow.
If I keep picking these bowling bets the way I have, I might have to
get a
sell
second
my
job.
house.
Get a second job.
I might have to
need a second job. I know. I'm gonna need a second job too.
I might have to.
Look at this. Look at this. Andrew had a $10 future on Dom. Oh my goodness. What were the odds on that, Andrew?
It was, plus 1,000 if you got him before the show. If you got him before the tournament.
Maybe before the tournament.
Probably plus 2,000 would be my guess. That's probably a $200 10 pin.
Lumber Flexual taking a bowling lesson. All right. I like it. I
agree. Lumber Flexual. His comment just got done with my first ever bowling lesson. Only regret is that I didn't do it sooner. Yo, people, if you guys got a reputable pro or coach in your area and you are seriously, if you're listening to this podcast, you're a serious bowler, in my opinion. I don't know any casual bowlers that listen to the show. Maybe a few I've met, but take a lesson. Just do it. Spend the $80, $100, $60 an hour, and it'll change the way you look and feel about the game.
Pre-show at plus 1,000 for Andrew V. All right, okay. All right, so not the end of the world, but a tough one nonetheless. We took a bath this week. This week. That's going to be the summary of where we're at. We'll get to that in a little bit. Before we do, league review. I told you last week it was going to be an easy week, didn't I? Because I told you that there was a new short pattern in town, and I had seen the short pattern bowled on. I knew that the gutter hooks. I saw people throwing urethane on it previous to us implementing it in the league. And yes, I was right. Purple Hammer, all 3 games, gave them 690 something. Probably should have been about 760 because I missed 2 single pin spares. I opened in 1/10 frame, and there was a game where I started front 7-9 spare, and I think I only shot like 240 that game, 240 something.
Sounds like you're bowling best 4 to 7 on the PBA tour.
I know. Yeah, I said that several times throughout the night. I said I'm bowling like I'm ready for the tour. I am. I'm bowling good, but I'm doing enough dumb stuff that I'm just like the pros. So yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting night, but I felt good. Staying slow is the key. I feel like just staying slow. Just stay slow, big dog. That's what I was telling myself all night.
I remember when I my previous sport league, when I was bowling on the short and I was able to use the Purple Hammer. I mean, it gets to the point where it feels like a cheat code. If when your purple hammer is working off the gutter, if you could use that hammer 10 right of 10 on either side. I mean, man, it just feels like a cheat code. If you're able to miss right and hook and miss left, and the real thing here is like if the ball is carrying, man, forget about it. Like it's just a huge cheat code on those short patterns.
Well, I will say the one thing you have to, and you know this, I think you'll agree with this. The one thing you have to be able to do though is move your feet right and stay right and play that straight angle through the front part of the lane.
A lot of people don't know how to do that.
I was discussing this at Lig on Tuesday, and just looking around and seeing a lot of guys playing with their feet left of 25. I mean, and it couldn't be more clear that you had to be far right and you wanted to be near the gutter. And I just think that because there's so much house environment out there, people really are less used than ever to standing right of 20, let alone right of 10. Or even right of 15 that, I mean, Rob, I'm sure that you remember, and a lot of people in the chat remember who have come up and bowled themselves. Like the first time you tried to play an out angle, it's like super intimidating. You feel like you're lined up in the gutter. You feel like you're just going to throw it in the gutter. And
so here's the thing is
going through that while you're bowling on a sport pattern where you can throw it in the gutter. Yeah, is really tough. But yeah, I bowled good. I was happy with how I bowled. I stayed slow. I bowled good. But I should have bowled a lot better, to be truthful.
Yeah. I mean, bowling on a shorter pattern when urethane works off the gutter. If I've seen in league where the people who are playing and using the urethane off the gutter and bowling the right way, it's like bowling in a completely different bowling center. If you're trying to use some aggressive asymmetrical or even shiny symmetrical and trying to play left of 15 or 20 and then trying to throw it to the gutter, then actually keeping your eyes right of 10 and using the urethane. It is, Mike, a completely different game. I mean, it is like you're making a league shot or sport league shot, a short pattern. You're making it into a difficulty of hard, when if you're in the right place with the right ball and your eyes are right and your feet are right, it's like playing on a house shot. Really, it gets to the point where you're playing on a house shot because you have the right matchup, you're in the right place, and your eyes are in the right spot. So, man, if you're in bowling league and it's a sport league specifically, I mean, it could be really anything, and you're watching people that know what they're doing score. You really need to try to emulate what they're doing. Now, don't get me wrong,
or ask them.
You have to keep in consideration their rev rate and all that stuff, right? And their speed, whatever. But you really have to try to look at where their break point is specifically and try to get that and emulate the break point and emulate what surface they're using, what kind of ball, and try to really get to where they're at because they're bowling good for a reason. So that's just like Rob's tip for tonight, I guess. Like, watch what other people are doing. It's really important. And if you get someone who really knows what they're doing, you could really take advantage of their doing. And if you're crossing pairs in a tournament, like, it's really important to also like watch what people are doing before you get on the pair or your own pair, right? And how to get reads really quick when you're moving pairs.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring this comment up from Steph. Steph's not gonna like my response to this comment. He says, not on our pair. He bowls in my league. We had to play it from 25, and I used 3 different black pearls. They were all jumping like it was 30 feet. Here's why. Because Steph doesn't play far enough right. He doesn't get his feet far enough right. I don't think he's real comfortable playing far right. I don't think I know that he doesn't have a ton of experience playing very far right. And if Steph would get his feet, let's say another 7 to 10 boards right, probably from where he started, and use the same black pearl, he'd probably feel like he's got the whole lane. So that's the thing you got to be able to do. You got to be able to get your feet right, stay right, play the gutter. You got to be able to do
and
that.
Steph says in the chat he drifts too much. I would work on the drift. I mean, if you're drifting 15, 20 boards left, like, that's a big problem. And if you're going to have to play right, like, it's really going to be hard for you. So I would work on not drifting so much. That would be my advice. Like that, I would. You're only really supposed to drift. I mean, 0 to like 7 or 10. Like in my opinion, I think that might
true. Is that true for the two-handers today, though?
I mean,
I don't
it's
think
true.
that's necessarily true. I think the two-handers. My advice to him would be get as far right on the approach as you can, and still drift if you want to drift, if that's what you feel you need to do. But
yeah, it's
just
practice.
Tighten up that angle. And make sure that your lay down point is 15, 15 or right instead of 25 or 20.
So talk to maybe the training facility and have them put out a short pattern for you, and then just work on not playing further left. Get a lesson if you have to learn how to play right. If that's the weak point of your game, then I would advise to do that.
I'll give you a lesson, Steph. I went to the training center today. I drilled up a couple balls last week, and I picked them up on Saturday, and I wanted to go throw them. And I went to the training center today, and there was a whole group of young bulls next to me practicing. I knew one of the dads, who's a pro shop owner around the area. And I was talking, just catching up a little bit on junior bowling and what's going on in the junior bowling circuit these days. And I saw one kid throwing it, and I couldn't help myself, Rob. I had to ask the dad that I knew, like, yo, can I work with this kid for 5 minutes? I want to show him something. So I had to show him a little something. But I got to say, by the time he left, he was throwing it a lot better than he was when when I walked in anyway. So it was cool. Drilled up a couple new balls, used them. Looking forward to having those tools in the sport league. We'll see if that leads to increased scoring on my part. But 690 is what I gave him this past week. So that's awesome. Where we're at. Somebody asked for a Mr. X update. I actually do have a Mr. X update.
Ooh.
Mr. X was supposed to join this half of the sport league, but apparently his partner, they thought his partner was going to have one entering average, and actually his entering average was going to be somewhat higher. So they decided to not bowl. So yes, Mr. X always looking for the sandbag advantage.
Does Mr. X know that he's talked about on this show?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't? Okay, I was just wondering if he, like, every week he sees you and is like, oh, I'm glad you give everyone the update about me.
No, I don't know. I mean, he's never said anything to me. It wouldn't surprise me if he knew, but he's never said anything to me. A couple weeks ago, my partner wanted to get Mr. X to sub, and I said no. I would rather bowl with the blind. I would rather bowl with the blind than have Mr. X sub. So. Still around, still hanging around.
Mike, sometimes you got to take one for the team for the content of the show.
No, can't do that. Sorry, can't do that one.
You're not a team player here.
I'm sorry, not in
that everyone. Regard. Mike's not a team player.
Not in that regard, I can't. But
it's the Eagle fans; they're not team players.
True, we didn't even talk about my Birds winning the Super Bowl, but it's cool,
Yeah,
I know it's been a week already. Everything's calmed down, but. Shout to the Eagles with the big Super Bowl win. Cash
man,
because of that. So
I'm a New Yorker, so I hate Philly in general, like their fans. But
you do hate Philly.
Oh man, the worst fan base in the world, and you can't convince me otherwise. But it was better. It was good to see them beat the Chiefs. I mean, I wasn't happy with either team winning, but I was just happy to see the NFL finally. I feel like folded on the Chiefs.
We beat them resoundingly too.
Yeah. Oh, it's a terrible Super Bowl. Halftime show was terrible. Everything about it was terrible.
I thought the halftime show was all right.
Kendrick's got a few good songs. I'm just not a fan of some of the other songs that he does.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like kind of hit or miss on some of his shit, but for a Super Bowl halftime show, I rather would have seen someone just like complete bangers. Like every song their hit is a banger. But all right, Mike, let's talk about the show today because the people came here to talk bowling.
Well, can we real quickly wrap up our give a perspective of our betting week, because it was a roller coaster, right?
So
that's all I'm going to say.
Throw myself out the window is that would give people
you might have to put yourself in the bathroom, seriously.
Oh
You
man,
might
I'm
have to
cold
lock
right
yourself
now.
in the bathroom. Mush.
I'm cold. I did bail out a bet though today. I did bail us out one bet. I
So
did.
we were freezing cold coming into this
Freezing.
week already, right?
Felt
And
bad.
then on the morning the qualifying started, I literally happened to have some extra time in the morning. So I went on and I saw two guys that I liked on their pairs in qualifying. And I clicked on the bet and the odds were really good. I think it was like 5-1 or something. So I was like, wow, that's 5-1. I'm like, I really like that. So I threw some cash on it, right? We cashed that ticket. Okay. The next block, I do the same thing. I cash another ticket. Okay. Betting on two guys to win their block for the qualifying. We actually got to plus. We were plus for a day, for about 16 hours. And then match play started. And we pressed every wrong button you could possibly press. Okay. And the big mistake we made, we already talked about it. There was one big mistake we made. We're going to put this out to the bowling gambling world. Okay. Alert. Okay. Write this down in your bowling gambling Bibles. Tim Foy is a dog.
It's a dog.
Tim Foy is a dog. And
Man.
Tim Foy you should be very careful about betting against Tim Foy.
Match play.
Okay. Match play, we're saying.
He's very, very good in match play.
All right. Be very careful about betting against Tim Foy in match play.
East Coast roots. I mean, my man knows when to throw him. It's very good at match play. And I think the one really we took a beating on was Sean Lavery Spar, right? Where we bet Sean Lavery Spar, thinking like this might be his run, the way that the pattern looked. Like I'm trying to use educated guesses here. The way the pattern looked, it was obvious. It was a very left to right pattern. You had to grab on it. Slow speed was pretty good, and everything about what Sean Lavery Spar was doing in qualifying and how he bowled. Thought like, hey, like he looked. I like him in the first round of matches, and man, we were wrong on that. Chris Langford says Tim's my boy. I rode him all the way to the bank. Yo, if we were riding Tim Foy from last week, we would be up a ton of money if we were riding him every match man, like we would have been cashing ourselves to the bank.
And I want to be clear here, Chris. I want to be clear. I'm not saying we were betting against Foy, but we weren't betting with him either.
Right.
And we had a lot of parlays and a lot of stuff did not involve him. And when our match play betting was over, Rob and our big observation from that was how did we just go through that match play round and not have Tim Foy in anything that we had, right? So
rookie mistakes. We're betting like rookies at this point.
Yeah. So then we were down again. And then the show came today, and we were like, all right, we're getting them on the show here today. All right. And yeah, we did okay. We came up ahead on the show. We had a chance to really, really get them if Dom would have won that last game. And it was more of an odds-based bet, right, where we were just taking Dom in the over because of the odds. And, it didn't work out. So we made a little bit of money. We're still in it. We're still in it for the World Series. But we're bleeding. We're bleeding, and we're down. And we need a week off, like some of these bowlers need a week off, Rob. Honestly,
I know for sure. A few bowlers more than other bowlers need the week or two off for sure.
True.
All right, Mike, you ready to talk about the show today, or you got?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's go. Let's run the ladder, huh? Let's start with the ladder running. So. First match we had, it was Don Barrett, Ryan Barnes. I think this was a Ryan Barnes learning type match for him. It looked like he wasn't comfortable from the get-go. And I think they all were playing right. they even mentioned something about EJ practicing using sanded ball or like some kind of sandblast ball, like on top of them or to the right. And I think the lanes just changed really quickly. And you saw Dom jump a whole lot left in like the end of the first game, switch balls to a stealth tour, which looks really good. And Ryan just never got comfortable, man. Just one of those type of shows where you're a rookie on tour, you having a whole lot of experience on the show, and it just happens so fast or quick where you make a few bad shots, you miss a spare, and then all of a sudden, Dom, being the seasoned veteran that he is, starts finding it a little bit, gets comfortable, and then by the time that happened, like Ryan was out of the match.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good analysis. I'm going to bring up Lou's comment here. What's up, Lou? He says, curious what you guys think of Barnes' thumb position. For example, compared to Vi, who sort of palms it, Barnes has his thumb stretched back, almost like having a thumb hole. Kind of unique, and I wonder what it does for him. I don't know. I mean, am I wrong that probably has something to do with the size of their hand too? Like how big your hand is and where you're going to be able to stretch that thumb to, right? It's sort of similar to a span almost. Like, I guess I'm suggesting that two-handers perhaps have a span, even if they don't use their thumb, because their fingers are going to go in, they're going to try and stretch their hand back to get a good surface of their hand on the ball. But it's an interesting question. I don't know the answer though.
I'm not a pro shop guy. I worked in the pro shop for about a year or two. I know how to drill balls and lay them out, but when it comes to fitting, that's something that I would want to ask someone who's been doing pro shop fitting for years. I'd also like to ask Chris, maybe somebody when they watch the Beef and Barnesy show, throw him a little bit of money, ask a question.
Don't throw him any money. Just ask the question. Tell him answer my
Well, that's
question.
how you get it. Isn't that how you get questions answered?
No, we ain't paying. Keep badgering them.
Keep badgering them is right. So Barrett then ends up bowling Foy, I believe, right? The next match.
Yep.
I'm trying to pull the just so I don't miss anything here.
No, Barrett, Timmy Tan.
Yeah, Timmy Tan, man. The Tan man, the Tan man, the Tan man.
Yeah, but once again, the shots that he needed to ace. I know it looked like bad breaks, but honestly, they weren't really great shots. The 5-pin was not a great shot. The one before it was not a great shot. It was fast.
Tan had a good look, though. His reaction was good.
The decision to use two balls was a good decision.
Yeah, and considering this was his first show, is a pretty good, amazing. He had a really good performance, to be honest with you, man. Front five, rolled a 2-pin, caught a couple here and there, but man, like you normally win a match like that on a shot that was kind of sensitive, bowling 245. I just think he caught Barrett making a ball change, moving left, and then Dom got up in the 10th, needed a double and 9 to beat him. And man, talk about 3 of the best shots I've seen on TV, or I should say bowling match play for the Heat for a while.
We know who handled the Heat there.
Yo, my guy Dom, he turned around, Mike, on the fill ball. Halfway down the lane, the ball, he turned around. He knew it was good. He knew he was ready for the cheddar. Honestly, have you seen that on TV? Like somebody needing a 9 and turning around halfway down the lane?
Oh, look who's in the chat.
Yo, dog.
Tim Foy, dog.
Man, you're so
Tim,
close.
No pressure, but we're going to be betting on you every best of 7 match play round for the rest of the season. I'm just saying.
Every match, dude.
I'm just saying, and I'm not saying that we bet against you. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we made the mistake of not betting with you.
I won't bet against.
Next best of 7 match play round, you make the cut. We're betting on you the whole way. Nice bowling so far this season, man. Dude, great bowling so far.
Man, my guy he's Freddie. Yo, match play for it, dude. For it gives he gives it to him, man. Just I wish Tim probably wished every tournament was best 4 to 7.
Okay. So,
all right. So,
Dom in the chat. What's up, Joe? What's going on, man?
Yo, what up, man?
Jersey legend. If you're not familiar.
So the whole lane.
Can I say something about Timmy Tan? You're giving him all this praise, and I feel you. But he was up like 30 going into the ninth frame, or 20. He was up 20 going into the ninth frame, and he's got a double at some point to lock it up. And in the ninth and 10th, he can't double.
You know why? I think what's happening.
When you have a chance like that against a Dom Barrett, a Triple Crown winner, Grand Slam winner, you got to close the door. I'm sorry.
You know what it was? I think the same thing was happening with Timmy that was happening with Tim on the show. And Tim's still in the chat. I like to hear his feedback. Is that if you got a little bit fast, the ball never read. It was really important to keep the ball slow.
Yep.
But I think Timmy got a little amped up, and it's easy to do when you're on the show to get a little bit amped up.
Oh, I mean, yeah, no doubt.
Yo, and I think that's what happened. And Dom is very good at getting soft, grabbing it, keeping his hand around it, and getting his ball to read up. But what a great match, though. I mean, for his first match on TV, my boy Timmy made a statement, man. He did. He made a statement. Like, he's not here on a fluke, even though he got really lucky to be on the show. I mean, really lucky. Like, Troop.
Rob thought he was going to fold like a cheap suit.
I did.
Rob thought Timmy Tan was going to fold.
I did. But okay. I have a reasonable explanation for it, because how many people their first show like bull bad on their first show? Like, it happens to a lot of people, and it's very rare that somebody on their first show has a really good performance. It's just a different bowling. It's a different, when you're bowling on TV, it's a whole different game, and it goes fast. And I think Timmy, he made an unbelievable performance. I think for his first time on TV, he just caught Dom, man.
It was funny you texting me because we talked before, and you were like, whoever wins the first match, we're riding them against Timmy Tan.
That was my strategy.
I was like, okay, no doubt. And then you're texting me because I wasn't watching live. I was at a soccer game, and my phone keeps going off, and I'm looking. You're like, he's got front 3, he's got front 4, he's got front 5, he's got front 6. So we had Dom in the under in that game, and we did not hit. But we came back the next game where we had Dom and the over. Right, we had Dom in the over.
We did. Sorry, Tim.
Sorry, Tim. So we had.
And there was only one. There was only one reason why, and I told you I bet on Dom. What?
Well, it was the odds.
It was the odds,
and it was the odds.
Dom's already bowled 2 games on TV. He just bowled 240. He looked really good. His reaction looked really good. And this guy's the Triple Crown winner, man. Like, it's tough to do with Tim come out not bowling, already bowl somebody like Dom, who's a veteran, who
only get a few shots in practice.
Dom has already bowled 2 games. It's a disadvantage. I mean, yes, you want to be the higher seed.
Let's be clear. I mean, we were chasing at this point.
We were chasing,
and that was the highest odds. And we were like, all right, we're down to our last bet here. Let's throw our last bet in at the highest odds. The odds on that for Dom and the over were plus 350. So that was the highest of the 4 choices. They give you player under, player to win under, player to win over, player to win under, player to win over. And Dom to win and the over was the highest odds. So we took that, and we got lucky. We sweated it. We sweated it all the way down to the last frame. And we got that. We were fortunate to get that. Dom, his look got better, right, as this show went on, okay? And that was pretty noticeable. And when you see that happening, you're right, Rob. I feel like it's tough for the other player to come in and figure them out to that level where they're going to be able to post a number high enough to beat a guy who already has a good look on that particular pair, right?
Yeah. So Scott in the chat says Foy will learn to bowl on TV, and when he does, watch out. Yo, Foy's already learned how to bowl on TV. He just got to get a couple of breaks to go his way in a sense, and we'll see him on more shows for sure, especially those match play, man. Nobody wants to bowl him. Nobody wants to bowl him. You draw him and you're like, oh shit, I got a bowl Foy. Fuck that. I don't want any piece of that. But
so Dom gets through the match with Foy, right?
By the way, 2 great shots in the 10th again.
Yep. To close it out. To close it out, right? Because he knows. Dom knows. Okay, Grand Slam winner, Hall of Famer knows. I ain't letting this guy get up and have a shot at it, because if I do, he's going to take it from me. Okay, and what does he do? He gets up and he executes the way that he needs to execute. Was that the game he crossed over on the last one?
Yes.
Okay, so he crosses over on the last one, which wasn't that great, but I think he only needed 7. So not not.
He did. He only needed 7-6 to force Foy and the strikeout to tie.
Right. So
he was Brooklyn.
So Dom moves on, and again, betting wise, we were put in a position where the odds just said you got to take. There's only one side to take here. I think EJ was almost minus 200 going into that last game. Now you could have taken EJ minus 9 and gotten some better odds on that, minus the 9.5. But we decided to go Dom and the over once again,
which I didn't want to bet against Hackett. I mean, who's going to bet against Hackett in this? Who in their right minds is going to bet against Hackett? But the lanes broke down. You saw they broke down really good for Dom. We knew that they probably broke down just as good for EJ as they did for Dom. The only thing that we were hoping, in a sense, for the betting and for the money, is that EJ was going to have that one shot that he maybe got slow, and that venom shock that he likes to use, like just hits the gas pedal and goes 4 through the face.
Well, we had it. It was
he did it, but he got 7, 3, 6, 10.
Yeah. It was the one where he left the 3, 6, 10. And the 7 was standing for a split second, and something took it out, and I thought, geez,
and then Dom
been our chance right there. And then
Dom catches
7-10.
Yeah, and then Dom catches that pocket 7-10.
Yeah,
which was an okay shot. It was lazy on the back of the lane. I don't think it could have been better, but it wasn't a bad shot, and he gets a bad break. And dude, EJ is at the point right now where you can't open the door. You can't open the door because Dom was actually up in that match early, and then EJ just took it and ran away with it, and he's the best bowler on the planet now.
I'm gonna put it another way. EJ's at a point where he's every frame he's closing the door.
Man,
he's closing the door.
How good?
Let's be clear that the old EJ Tackett is dead.
Dead. How far has he come, Mike, on TV? How far has that kid come on TV?
It's scary.
It just shows you, though, the more experience and the more shows you make, the more comfortable you get on TV, and the more experience it matters. Every game you bowl on TV matters. And I'd be interested to hear Tim's point of view if he's in the chat. It gets easier, I'd imagine, when you make 2 shows back to back. Your nerves are a little bit better. And yeah, I mean, EJ is scary right now. Simo, back's hurt. I think he's not bowling really well right now. Belmo had something personal he had to take care of, which I wanted to bring up because I think Belmo would have bowled really good on this shot because of the slow speed and just having to play the lanes like they were. I think Belmo would have made a good run at this show if he was there. I'm not really sure why Belmo went home. I don't really know, personal reasons. I do want to say,
chat earlier said something about there's flooding in his area.
I do want to say something though. To go home in the middle of the season right now is brutal. Brutal, because think about what his travel looks like. Rash, it's a 24-hour travel, from here to Australia. I've never done it, but it could even be longer. Imagine, I don't know if he's going to be back. Well, they're off, right? Mm-hmm. The Marshall Holman doubles is taped, right? So that show has already went. So the next will be him coming back for the World Series. So he'll get about 2 weeks. But going home in the middle of the season to Australia is a hard thing, and I think only Belmo could pull that off.
So you mentioned on Twitter that Tackett may have already wrapped up Player of the Year.
I mean, okay. You know what reason why I said that is because you have to figure EJ's gonna be in contention for a lot more shows, right? He's already got one major and one title. You have to figure EJ is going to get another one or two at this point, the way he's bowling. You got to figure he'll be in it for like the longer format majors, the Tournament of Champions type formats, the World Championship, right? Where it's just a collaboration of bowling through a really long period right now. I mean, who do you see that has a chance right now to beat this kid?
No one. I mean, Tim Foy might be the closest second right now. No, I think he's made 3 shows.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, you might be right. It's
and I got to bring up Simo, because Simo, in my opinion, would have been like the one that would have been able to keep up with him. But obviously, Simo is not physically there. It's just obvious that he's not at his physical 100%, that his back is hurting him. I think he's going to take advantage of this 2 weeks off more than anybody on tour right now. So long story short, I think Tackett already has the Player of the Year almost in the bag. And he's going to get another title.
Who else has won a title this year so far?
I have to look off the top of my head.
I'm having a
brain,
in my
senior
brain.
moment.
Yeah, I am. Somebody in the chat remind us who else has won a title this year.
Tua Tagovailoa. That's what I call him. Santu Tagovailoa.
Santu. Okay. Santu. All right. Well, yeah,
and Fa.
Okay, Fa. All right. Yeah. Who knows? No. I mean, well, hold on a minute. Last year, the left was very friendly at the World Series of Bowling, if you remember.
But they're not a Thunderbolt this year.
I hear you. I'm just saying, I could see a situation where he did
titles.
where Fa ends up on that World Championship show with EJ, and perhaps
I know
we're talking about Fa being able to even the table there, right?
Look, I'd have to look at all the lane patterns that are getting put out in the rest of the year. But you could just mark it down that any long pattern with volume, EJ's going to eat it up. The kid is an absolute serial killer when the patterns are long. Look at his history. He crushes them when they're 44 feet or longer. So I really think that he's going to get a few more, and I think Player of the Year is already. I mean, unless something happens where Simo or Belmo or even Bill starts winning titles and gets really hot, I don't think this is going to be a close race.
Yeah, Anthony has a good point. It's at the National Bowling Stadium. Very lefty friendly in the past.
Yeah, Scorpion, Viper, Chameleon, and Shark. He loves Shark and Scorpion. So I think but we'll see. It's tough to say. But if you're going to put some futures in, EJ on Scorpion and Shark and the World Championship.
Okay. All right, Rob. Let's give out some awards. We ran the ladder. Let's give out some awards here. What do you want to do?
We're going to cover a lot of topics here. So let's start with ride with or not ride with.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mike. You go first.
Oh man, there's so many choices for this one. I'm ride with. I'm gonna go Timmy Tan.
I like that.
I'm gonna ride with Tan. He's got to be feeling good after didn't win, but performed very well, made a show, represented. I also hear that he's like celebrity level in his country. So
That's awesome.
I'd like to hear more about that. Maybe he's got some TMZ type coverage of him in his home country. So it would be interesting to get the info on that. But yeah, a good week. I'm gonna ride with him.
Yo, I'm riding with Tim, man. Foy, dude. I mean,
Okay.
yo, I think that would be a really fun ride. I just bowling great, making shows. And it's funny because last week I didn't want to ride with him, right? This week I'm riding with him because I think you're now there. Your confidence is there. Like, you could bowl with these guys. Like, it's not just like a one-time, two-time show. To do what you're doing, now it's a whole different level of like, hey, I belong here. Not only do I belong here, but I could beat everybody. And I think that's a whole different mindset, like, out there. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna ride with Tim, man.
Okay. I am not riding with Darren Tang. I'm not riding with Darren Tang.
We give him a lot of crap.
I feel like the blog's been getting dark. I do. I feel like two-handed, one-handed. He's switching to two-handed now. This was a pattern that, honestly, when he bowled one-handed, if urethane was in play, I probably would have bet on him to be on the show on a pattern like they bowled on this last week. He finished 68th out of 76. I don't know, man. I don't, it's gonna be a long ride back to Vegas for the week off, especially with this two-handed switch. And that's where you're at with that.
Okay, Mike, this might be the first not ride with where I don't want to ride with two PBA pros in the same car. I don't want to ride with Tom Doherty and Sean Rash, Mike.
Well, you don't have to worry about it because they ain't riding in the same car.
But
so
I don't. If anybody's
saying you don't want to ride with either of them,
I don't want to ride with both of them together.
Well, you don't have to worry about that. They ain't gonna ride together. That's a
I'm
terrible
just
pick.
saying, these are fake awards, right? This is a fake hypothetical situation. So look, long story short, people, if you guys don't know, and I want to get into it a little bit. If you guys don't know, after the match was over, they did an interview with Tom Doherty, and Tom Doherty had some pretty negative things to say about Sean Rash. Explicitly was like, fuck Sean Rash. It was, I don't know if that's the quote on quote.
Because of chirping.
It was because of some under the radar shit talking was what Tom Doherty said.
Right.
Only talking that he could hear. Now, I would be interested to know what he was saying during the match. Because if I knew what Sean was saying during the match, then I could either defend Tom's comments or I could say he's soft for saying them right after.
Depends. I'm okay with it either way. I'm okay with it either way. I don't care what Rash's comments were. In fact, I expect a true competitor to react that way to any comment that somebody else is making that they think is directed at them during a competition. I got no problem with Doherty's comments. And I'll be honest, I got no problem with Rash talking during the match.
I know.
I got no problem with either of them. In fact, I want to say, let's have them bowl again. Let's add fuel to this rivalry fire. This is the kind of stuff we need. This is the kind of stuff that I wish Tom Hess was covering. If we're going to cover stuff in between games, let's cover that kind of stuff in between games. Let's get that out there. Let's present bowling as a sport where guys have that fire. Where guys really want to win. And want to beat each other. And then it gets heated out there sometimes. So I got no problem with either one of them.
Oh, I love that. I mean, I love the trash talk. I do. I've been asking for this for a while. But the only reason why I'm saying is because, like, if I'm bowling, okay, Mike, if I'm bowling you and it's a best 4 to 7 and it's me and you, and we don't like each other, okay? And you're talking shit to me while I'm bowling, I'm talking shit back, right? So after the match is over, though, regardless if I don't like you or I don't like you, we talk shit, we bowl each other, you beat me, I beat you. We're shaking hands, right? Good match, and we're walking away. And then if people ask us after, like, hey, what happened with that match, whatever, and they interview me, I'm not going to come at you on that in that interview. I'm not. I'm going to say, yeah, we said some things, but it's in the heat of the competition. So I'm wondering what was said for to get a reaction.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
hold on. These are two guys who have been around each other for years, right? And have bowled against each other for years.
100%.
So like these are two guys that if they're and they
don't like
probably
each other.
weren't friends before this, right?
Right.
Neither of them were worried about being friends after this. I think what the example you gave, like it doesn't have that background to it, right? Like if you and I bowl each other and there's already no love lost between us and we're not friends and we know that and you ain't interested in being friends after this match and neither am I, and you're out there chirping a little bit and I'm out there chirping a little bit, yeah, my reaction might be the exact same as Darty's if they ask me. Like, oh, what do you think about this? I might say the same thing. Like, again, I'm sure Tom Darty doesn't care what Sean Rash thinks of him, and I know because he's a friend of the show. In full disclosure, and he's been on here numerous times. I know Sean Rash doesn't give one diddly squat of what Tom Darty has to say about him. So yeah, who cares? Who cares on either side? Like,
here's what needs to happen, Mike. Here's what needs to happen. The USBC Masters, right? Or how about this at this point, any show. But let's put it in a major. Sean Rash needs to bowl Tom Darty for the championship on TV live.
No, I don't want to see that because that will be too reserved. They'll both be in that mask on, emotionless, staying calm. Yeah. I want to see them. I want to see them in a best of 7 again. I'd like to see them match up in a best of 7 match play round again. I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them bowl each other at the Masters. Would be nice. I'd like to see them bowl in a non-championship TV game, like maybe a semifinal to get to the final. Where they're really, they're not trying to calm themselves down just as much.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. I want to see them bowl on a nationally televised stage because especially for something that's a title, a major, some money. Andrew brings it up. Hey, set up an action match.
Nah, I want to see it in real competition.
I want to see it mean something. And I want you to sit here and tell me that they're not going to have emotion during that match if they're bowling each other for a title.
Bowl TV, are you listening? Bowl TV, are you listening? If they bowl each other in another best of 7 somewhere along the line, the whole entire settee needs to be mic'd up. Okay? The whole entire, so you need to have microphones and take every other microphone in the building and find a way to put it in that settee area so we can hear every word they're saying during that match. And let them go. Is Tom Clark listening? Let them go, bro.
I'm sure he's going to let them go, but
finding people, let them go. Let
you think Darty got fined? You think Darty got fined for that?
I don't know. I probably.
I think he probably did.
Probably.
I want to think
let them go, though, man. This is what we need. We need to show that side of the game. We need to show that these guys really care, that they're passionate about it, that they want to win. But all right, can we move on? Can we move on? You're the one. Come on, let's go. I got to keep it moving. I told you were in charge of pushing it forward tonight.
I want to keep talking about this. Okay. All right, Mike. Let's go to dumpster diving. We probably have the same dumpster diving, but I'm gonna go first.
Go ahead.
Man, I apologize because that's my boy, man. I love Ronnie to death, but dude, like, I gotta give Ronnie rest. I gotta give Ronnie rest for dumpster diving, man.
My goodness.
The left was hard this week. You could tell all the lefties were in the bottom of the standings. This was a pattern. This was a tournament that Ronnie did slow. It fit him pretty well, I thought. His style and the way he throws it in his game. And to see him finish in like the second to last place, it just tells me that he needs to take this couple weeks and figure some things out.
I'm going Chris Prather.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going Chris Prather, 56 out of 76. On a pattern that I would expect him to bowl well on. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Andrew's giving it to the lefties. I did give it to all the lefties at first, honest to God, and then I saw Ronnie's name in there, and I was like, man, like this was his tournament.
It was the dumpster was filled with all the lefties and Ronnie Russell.
For Ronnie, man.
So Rob looked at the dumpster and he was like, what do we got in here? We got a bunch of lefties. Oh, and Ronnie's over. All right,
I know. I'm a Ronnie fan, man. I've known Ronnie since I was in college. We bowled against each other. Throws it great. Has a lot of talent. He just needs to like take a couple weeks off and start putting it together. I know he's capable. So, all right, Mike. Let's talk. I see you, Haas.
Okay.
Timmy Chan, man. I see you, Haas, bro. This is his award. Yo, he got there, made the best of it, had a good game on TV. Shouldn't have been there, in my opinion. Kyle Troop leaving a pocket 5-10 in game 7 in the 10th frame was maybe the worst break that I've ever seen at the moment for a TV show. 10 frame, needs a 9 spare, and does a pocket 5-10 with all that rev rate, all that power, not even using urethane. Was just like one of those, almost like you felt like Timmy was meant to be, that this might have been his time to win that title. And yeah, so I see you, Timmy.
I'm gonna go. Oh wait, I just had it and now I lost it.
Dude, Kevin's shot, dude. I can't.
Even though I bet on this person in a round of match play and they lost their match, and it upset me greatly because I not only had them in a parlay that I really liked, but I also had them in an upset parlay that would have hit if they won. But I'm still going to give my I see you, Hoss, to Andrew Hall. I'm going to give it to Andrew Hall. He bowled good all week from what I saw. Threw really good. I think he shot 300 or 299 one game. So bowled really well, had a good week. But Andrew, we need to buckle down a little bit more when we need them in match play. All right, talk to Tim Foy. Get a little dog out of Tim Foy. Okay, I was betting on you because I was testing whether he had the East Coast dog in him. He's an East Coast kid, so I was testing whether he got that East Coast dog in him, and nearly passed the test. We're not quite there yet, but keep going. I see
his match got funky. That game 7 was a funky match.
It did.
The pair got real weird.
But truthfully, I didn't feel like it should have gotten a game 7.
Yeah, I agree. He'll be there. He's still learning too. A lot of these rookies that have got exemptions are learning the hard way how hard it is out there on tour bowling against these guys.
Okay.
All right, Mike, let's go with the heat. Who took the heat? Who didn't take the heat? Mike taking the heat, got to go to Don Barrett. Don Barrett, 2 matches on TV, needs to perform doubles in both his matches and does it. And they were no doubters, Mike. Don Barrett still got a lot left in him, man. Seasoned veteran, good dude. So, yeah, Don Barrett could show you that he's still got that seasoned veteran title, bowler in him, and he's ready for the cheddar today on TV.
Yeah, I'm not sure that there's another pick here, especially considering that I believe
90% of them can't take the heat.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. But I also believe that Dom was down in his match to Bill and came back, and stormed back and gave him the heat. But if I must take a different person, I would probably give that award to Foy because he really didn't have to deal with much heat. He went 4-0, 4-1 in the 2 rounds of match play. When you do that, you don't have to handle the heat. No problem. You're good.
Yeah. Who didn't take the heat? I mean, I this award, I could give it to probably 15 professionals watching the match play. It seems like every time there was an open, the pro gave it right back to them. But I just got to go with Ryan Barnes, man. Just couldn't. He didn't take the heat today. He was kind of seemed like he was a little bit all over the place. Rightfully so, man. He's still a rookie. Still got a lot to learn, but yeah, seemed like he just didn't have his legs under him today.
I got to go Kevin McCune.
Ooh, good pick.
I got to go Kevin McCune. Another one that we bet. We had him all over the place. And honestly, he just came out and pooped the bed and just, did not handle the heat. Actually was had chances to get up in the match and just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. Honestly, it was really, really tough to watch. So I would give it to McCune.
I'm gonna let you do spare shooter. I didn't really have I mean, I was gonna give it to Ryan Barnes for missing that 3-6, but was it Ryan who chopped the 3-6 today? I'm just trying to remember.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I believe so. I was gonna give it to Ryan, but I mean, I don't want to give Ryan 2 awards, but I didn't really try to think if there was anybody else. I didn't see spare shooting seemed to be okay this week. I think I didn't see a lot of missed spares as I normally do.
I don't recall any of that much consequence either, and I don't want to call out somebody for missing a spare that wasn't critical in a match or something like that. So nothing really stuck out to me in terms of the spare shooting in the matches, but there were definitely a lot of 9 outs out there. I will definitely say that, no question.
Got it. All right, Mike. I think that wraps up all of our awards, right?
Yes, it does. Wraps up this event.
All right. Do you want to finish them up with worst of the week?
Let's do it.
All right, let's roll.
All right, so my worst of the week this week is based on a social media post that I saw from Stephanie Zavjalova.
Okay.
Right. Where she's throwing, I think, a level, and she's bowling on these very unique looking black synthetic Brunswick lanes, it looks like. And she's throwing a level, and she leaves 3 9-pins in a row. That was the point of the post, was to show her leaving 3 9-pins in a row. And the amount of people that came onto that post and commented to tell her what to do was just outrageous to me. So I'm going to give worst of the week. I'm going to generalize worst of the week here this week, okay? And I'm going to give worst of the week to anyone who goes on social media and gives a professional at what they do advice on how to do that thing. Okay? So relax. If you see a bowler or any professional doing what they do, putting out a video of them doing something, and you think that you need to tell them something about what they're doing, let me give you a piece of advice. Stop. You don't need to. Save that. Thank you.
So I'm making history tonight on worst of the week, Mike.
Oh, no. You can't.
I'm giving worst of the week to the first ever comment of a live show that we've done.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I had worst of the week all lined up. And then I saw the comment from Patch Pirates and Tables.
Oh, boy.
To start the show. So congrats to Patch Pirates and Tables making a comment that is Ryan Barnes the PBA's version of Bronny James. Not impressed, and it bothered me immensely that he got that exemption last year. What in the world are you talking about, my friend? Bronny James, I think, has maybe played 5 minutes total, I think. Ryan Barnes earned an exemption. He has made already a few shows as a rookie, and believe me, when it comes down to it and we look back years from now, Ryan Barnes is going to have multiple PBA titles, and I could probably even make a speculation that there will be some majors included. He is for real, and he is going to be really good. Don't compare him to Bronny James. Bronny James, we all know, is probably got drafted because of his death. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? So don't ever make that comparison. It's a terrible comparison. So that's my worst of the week. First ever to go to a comment on our live show. But in my opinion, it's well-deserved.
Okay.
All right, Mike, you ready to wrap this up?
Let's do it.
All right.
You want to go first, or would you like my final thought first?
You go ahead.
So, I guess last week there was a little exchange between me and Bill on Twitter where I forget what the video was that I tagged him in, but it was like I think it was like a Hall of Fame video for football, and it was like somebody telling the other person that they were getting inducted to the Hall of Fame, and they had this like moment, and I tagged him in it and made some comment about it, and his comment back to me kind of put this out there, so I guess I'm okay to let people know and talk about it at this point, but I'm really honored. I'm really touched actually that Bill has asked me to introduce him for the PBA Hall of Fame. So, I'm going to be speaking at his Hall of Fame induction, and I'm going to be the person that represents him and goes up and introduces him for his induction to the PBA Hall of Fame. And that's I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it is. It's tremendous, and it's a tremendous honor to me. And I'm working hard to do it in a way that's going to be what he wants it to be. I feel like there's a bit of pressure on me just to do it in a way that that we all I can't even put into words the way I feel about it quite honestly. But
so Nico's asking if I'm going to be able to make it for Akron. Let's just say that's a maybe. It's a maybe at this point. I'm not 100% sure, but I will try to do what I can.
They also moved the Hall of Fame ceremony to Friday.
Oh.
So it was supposed to be a Monday, but it's a Friday.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so we will be able to properly celebrate, and Bill will not have to bowl the next day. So it's a cool thing that they moved it. I'm happy to see that. I feel like that's the way it should be. It's the way it's been for everybody else. Why should these guys have to sacrifice their celebration because they have to go bowl a major the next day? I'm super excited about it, a little bit nervous about it, and like I said, I know Bill has a ton of friends who are also his fans and people from his past and stuff like that, and to get the opportunity to represent all those people in introducing our guy for the Hall of Fame is not something that I take lightly whatsoever.
You have to do it like Michael Buffer style, baby. You got to like.
Well, it's funny. I've been thinking like what people's expectations are of me getting up there. Like, do they expect me to go Jason Kelsey and dress up in a mummer's costume and come up and yell at everybody for 10 minutes before I introduce them? Like, you're definitely not going to get that out of me. Now, I will say that I have gone back and I have watched some of the other PBA Hall of Fame inductions, just see like the induction, the intro speeches, and kind of get an idea of what I'm going for. And I don't know. I have to talk to some people, but I might have to go and do something different than people have done in the past. Like I I'm not going to get into it, but I want to include pictures in this. Like it's important to me that I include pictures in some of this, and perhaps even a clip or two.
Hey, if you want me to dress up in
Try to-
like a suit or like a costume, we could be like, what's going on at the TOC? We could do that skit on stage. I mean, that would probably bring the house down.
No.
It's a little bit more professional, huh?
Yeah,
They don't need me to be out of suit.
But yeah, so I've been thinking a lot about it, and I've been working.
That's cool.
on
That's a
it,
great honor,
and,
though, man. That's
no,
awesome.
it is, and I'll be honest with you. Like, no one in my life has ever asked me to, like, represent them in any way. Like, I've never been the
Wear a
best man
tuxedo
in anybody's wedding or anything like that, or I just
Yeah.
for him to ask me to do that, really was not lost on me, and it definitely means a lot to me. So.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it is. It's cool because we, people here that are friends of the podcast know the whole story. That we came up together. Just like you did.
Dude,
We
Mike,
came together. So to have somebody that you came up with, reach these levels, and still be able to have those experiences with them is definitely a cool thing.
that is cool. Robert Hamilton saying that I need to wear that plaid shirt. Only the real ones know about the plaid shirt.
Well, listen,
Only the real
Robert,
ones know
that's
about that.
one of the clips I want to play. That's
Oh, dude.
because to me, no, I'll be honest with you. Like to me, there's two quintessential representations of Bill Bowling on TV of how much I'm serious though, of how much his people support him. And it's you in that shirt when he throws the shot, you're yelling on the sidelines and giving
I
it
still get so much
and
shit.
the other one
you.
is me
PBA playoffs.
Maine at the PBA playoffs
Yes.
where he seals it up and I'm like punching the air.
Yes.
So yeah, like I would love, and again, like I don't think that's ever been done before. I don't think anybody's ever gone up before and like had clips and stuff as part of their introduction speech, and I don't know if they'll even let me do it. So like I said, I have to get in touch with some people and see what's good. But yes, that's exactly the direction that
That's pretty cool.
I'm trying to go. Just to again like I understand that there's a lot of people who are part of the Bill O'Neill support army, right? And
That's awesome.
And me and you may be two of the charter members. We may be two of the longest tenured members. But yeah, there's a lot of people on this bandwagon. So yeah, like I said, to represent them is
you better name drop the podcast too when you're doing. You better find a way to slip it in.
Well, I thought like, is my first line going to be something about, hey, this is who I am, and you probably all know me from a shitty, barely watched podcast that critiques what you all do on TV. Like I think that might have to be my first line, quite frankly.
Just drop it to sweep the rack so we get some.
Yeah, we need to get it out of the way quickly. I need to acknowledge it quickly and move on. I feel like
that's hilarious. Oh my god, that would be great. I for sure might have to come. Like I have to find a way there. Like Friday night, like I wouldn't have to miss work.
This is great. Lumber Flexible wants me to wear the
headset.
The headset. Wear the headset while I'm doing the speech. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I might have to come Friday night. That sucks that it's in Ohio. I wish it was in like Vegas. Like it would have been so much better for us to just hang out in Vegas. But this would have been the first if I'm able to get there, that'd be the first tournament that me and you would be able to like go and watch together, and that would be kind of cool too. I think we haven't done that yet. So anyway, all right, Mike, that's great. That's awesome. Proud of you. Hopefully it'll be a good speech. I don't doubt it. Let's just say it like that, or a little speech or whatever it's going to be. My final thoughts is I think we need to all sit back for a sec and really, really appreciate what EJ Tackett is doing right now on tour. I think we're in the midst of like one of the greatest, or if not the greatest, bowling that we've seen in our lifetime, honestly. This kid has won 2 Player of the Years back to back. He's got a 3rd Player of the Year he won a few years before that. And now he's already got a major and a PBA title this year and already favored and probably going to win a third player of the year this year if something crazy doesn't happen. I think we all just need to sit back and realize that this kid is 25 titles. He could go down to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest bowler of all time. He's on that path right now, the way he's bowling. And it wouldn't surprise me if he got 2 more at the World Series. But my brother's in the chat. Jeff, what up, man? Will EJ get to 50 titles? He's 32. He's 32. Got 25. I think if he keeps his head on straight, which he is, he's got his head on straight.
Oof. I mean, even over the next 10 years to win 2.5 titles per year for 10 years. So
What concerns
going
me,
into your early 40s, that's a lot.
Mike, the only thing that concerns me about EJ is the fact that he's got an over 500 rev rate, and physically, I don't know how that's going to really affect his like wrist, his knees, his back. Like when he's in his 40s, is he going to still be able to like do what Bill is doing essentially at 43? Right.
Right.
I don't know. Like we all know that all these games these guys bowl put a lot on their bodies, but I think the next 5 years, 6 years, 7 even, we should all strap in, sit back, and really embrace what EJ is doing right now. It's incredible how hard it is to win on the PBA Tour, to get one title, and for him to doing what he's doing, he's on an absolutely another planet. And there's nobody that could say otherwise, in my opinion. So we should all just sit back and really embellish and embrace what he's doing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Walter Ray, I said it a couple weeks ago. Walter Ray, Mark Roth, Earl, if you were at that time, right? Belmo.
And now EJ.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like the different eras of guys who dominated, right? The different eras of guys who dominated, and he's certainly dominating this era. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and what made Pete so great is that Pete was winning in, I mean, like 5 different decades. I think Pete Weber's first title was like 79, Mike.
Brian in the chat saying
100%.
EJ's a smaller guy like Peter Norm. Those guys seem to dodge injury. Yeah, but here's the thing, Brian. I think that he is exerting a lot more torque on his frame with the way he throws it, as opposed to the way that those guys throw it. But yeah, listen, like you said, Rob, it is cool to watch. You know, it is cool to see him operate at this level. So, shout to him. I really every tournament I feel like, yeah, he's probably going to win. You know, and again, you don't see that with a lot of guys over the years on tour. You know, you felt that way about Belmo a few years ago. Before that, it was Walter Ray. Right, when we were watching bowling on Saturday afternoons, Walter Ray was the guy that every week it just felt like, man, he's going to get on the show and he's going to find a way to win. And a lot of times he did. You know?
And the crazy thing is like EJ I'd be more interested to see if he can get to 15 majors, because right now he's got 6 majors. He's got 25 titles and 6 majors. I'd be interested to see if he can get. That's going to be one of the hardest at this point records to break, especially with Belmo still bowling at a high level.
Okay, well, that's part of it, but I think that the 50 titles is harder to get to than the 15 majors for EJ.
Ooh, I disagree with that. I think the 15 majors are harder.
No, and here's why I say that, because the 15 majors, all those tournaments are the long formats.
Which
you talked about, which he loves, right? He loves those longer formats. We saw it with the U.S. Open. We see it with the World Championship the last couple of years. Like, he loves those longer formats. So I think a lot of the other smaller titles he's going to have to win to get to 50 are going to involve match play, and you got to get breaks and things have to go your way. Whereas these longer formats, like, he's definitely the favorite, right? So like I said, it's real interesting to watch as a fan of the game and a fan of professional bowling. So very cool. But all right, Rob, we're going to wrap it up for the people. That's it for tonight. We appreciate everybody joining us as always. Follow us on social media.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, please. Follow us on social media. We do most of our chatting on X. He's at BrooklynRob11. I'm at the 215th. Email us if you want. Reach out. We love getting the emails from the people. sweeptherack@gmail. You can check us out there. I don't know. Are we taking a week break?
Well, the Mark Ruff doubles is getting aired this weekend.
Okay, all right. I guess we'll be back on. Yeah, I guess we'll be back on
the doubles. But we'll keep everyone posted. But let's plan on Sunday, same time. I think.
Nico's right, bro. Our wallets are going to enjoy a week off. I know, Nico.
But you know what's going to end up happening, Nico, is we're going to end up getting antsy, and then the next tournament we're going to start firing it in when we can bet.
Yeah, and you know what? No. What's going to happen is this. We're going to take a nice week off. We're going to take a deep breath. We're going to reset the vibes. And we're going to come into the World Series crisp and focused and ready to go.
I need a break myself.
Okay.
I need to get hot.
Me too. I'm gonna enjoy this week off from the roller coaster of bowling gambling. Ridiculous. All right, guys, later. We'll see you next week.
Later, guys.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.